Welcome to This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is 2 Up and 2 Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
All right, today we're going to discuss the Season 9 episode, The Merv, Griffin. Let's start off with Chris for your 2 ups and your number 1 up.
Well, listen, anyone who knows me, they know Season 9 is not one of my favorites, so this is a challenge to find some ups, but there are some ups in this episode. I remember watching this episode fondly as a kid. But what's interesting is some of these ups could turn into downs, which sounds crazy. But when Jerry and Kramer are talking about Army Pete, for some reason I always get a little giggle about that when they're on the set together, and then Jen and Kramer, use that line only in New York. But then it stops there, and then it goes in a longer, deeper direction. But for that small, tidbit of time, I'm giving the 1 up to Kramer hosting Jerry and Elaine and talking about Army Pete and only in New York. Those lines give me a little chuckle.
All right, very good. Tony, let's go over to you for your first up of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, first, I think O'Hara, we were really kids when this aired, though, right? This was Season 9. You're talking a little bit later on, but I get your point. All right, my up on this episode is Peterman. Peterman gives me a few chuckles. Peterman's always good for a line or two where I get a good laugh. I specifically like when he says, "This certainly looks like a lot of words," when he gets handed the paper, because all of a sudden, and then and done when he's reading People magazine. And then when he gives the assignment to Elaine, he's like, and I'm assuming I'm going to need it right away. I mean, just 3 solid Peterman lines and again, I'm going to reiterate this a few times. I despise this episode, so it was very hard to find it up. I found something there for you. The Peterman gets a thumbs up for Merv Griffin.
All right, yeah, thank you, Tony. Yeah, because I just started laughing when you just read off those Peterman quotes. So, yeah, good one up there. Chris, let's go back to you for your second up of the episode.
And luckily, I know my partner, and I know what direction he's going. I had Peterman here too, but I will not use Peterman. And for some reason, Jerry, throughout the tenure of the show, it's the small things, it's the faces he makes, right? When he's doing so it's when, in the beginning when he goes back to the apartment with his girlfriend, and she said, "I said no," and they start kissing, and he does that little look at the toys. Gets me every time. So it's Jerry's face with the girlfriend looking at the toys. My second thumbs up.
All right, giving Jerry some credit for his acting chops. All right, Tony, back to you. What do you got for your second up of the episode?
I was scraping the barrel here for a second, and I'm going to be clear here. My second thumbs up is just the line when George says, "I thought we had to deal with the pigeons." That's where it ends. He just says the line. I like that line. I use that line quite often. It's just a good premise. It should have ended there. It didn't need to be the entire episode. I thought we had to deal with the pigeons. A nice line. I laugh. If you think about it, it makes sense. The premise is all you need. The joke is done. That's my thumbs up. The deal with the pigeons.
All right. Thank you guys for your 2 ups. So now let's go back to Chris. We're going to discuss the down. So what do you got for your first down?
Well, we could put that pigeon line at the down, but I won't. My one down is the whole Seidler bit. Enough already. Enough with these. Listen, the raincoats, the close talker, we get it. This, that, the other thing. The sidling up, it's too much. The whole Lou Filerman, the new guy, and then the guy repeats his name. Just not funny. So, they were just pushing bits, that they thought might catch fire. And, for a good fan, I didn't fall for it.
I hear you. Yeah, it would have been, just a one-time thing, but they stretched that over the episode. So yeah, it did feel a little drawn out. Tony, let's go over to you for your first one down of this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I easily could have picked the Seidler, have it written down. I'll give that one to O'Hara. I mean, my thumbs down on this. I mean, where to begin? I'm just going to give it overall. My thumbs down is Costanza. Quite possibly the worst Costanza episode of the entire show. Saving a squirrel. I mean, it is just, it makes me sick to my stomach watching it. I can't get through it. It's hard to look at. It's probably, I think it's the worst George episode. I think I'd have to probably do a little more research in this, but it's my thumbs down. Just the Costanza storyline from start to finish. Aside from the line, I gave him the line. I'm ending it there. Costanza is a thumbs down on this one.
Absolutely agree there. That has to be a down with the squirrel and pigeon storyline. So, Chris, over to you. What do you got for your next one down?
So, a common theme in season 9 and even season 8 are these opens. And I think the open with Jerry and Kramer walking and talking about the blender and then Cain and Abel really missed. I don't get it. It's not something they would talk about. Kramer's making gravel. I can't even talk about it. That's how bad it is. Why would they even talk about Cain and Abel? Why would they talk about a blender? Doesn't make sense. Cold opens in general, I'm not a fan of. The core of the show, the base of the show is Jerry's stand-up. It upset me that they got rid of that. And these opens just never hit it for me. So the open about the blender and Cain and Abel, Jerry and Kramer, down.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. In the later seasons, the cold opens got weaker and weaker, and yeah, that's a classic example. So, Tony, let's go back to you. What do you got for your last down of the episode?
Yeah, my second down is Jerry's storyline, drugging the girl. I mean, there's a lot of things. I'm not even getting into the whole, double entendre that they're playing off of, obviously with a Cosby reference, I'm sure somewhere thrown in there, right? You can do all that if you want. I'm putting that aside and not even going to go there because I don't think they were going there. I just think it's a horrible premise. And they like 4 or 5 scenes of it. And then the end, Elaine's doing it. I mean, now I'm jumping around a little bit. Is it Jerry? Or is it just that whole, I guess it's the whole thing, the whole drugging the girl for the toys. I mean, I know it's half the episode and it's horrible. Makes no sense. I get it. Do it once, maybe. You're talking about 5 or 6 scenes with it, with the watching the George's home videos, which don't get me started on that. Just the whole changing him when he's the whole thing. Terrible storyline with drugging the girl. So that's my thumbs down.
Yeah, absolutely. Celia, she should have been in the finale and testifying against them for what they did to her. So yeah, that's a good one, Tom. So guys, let's wrap this one up. The Merv Griffin, what are your final grades for this one?
Final grade for me on Merv Griffin. Again, Tony made a lot of valid points and he swayed me a lot, but in my head, I'm thinking about many other episodes and where I want to rank. But this is a solid D. I mean, Tony just mentioned the wine and turkey bit that went on and on. I counted, not only that, there were too many scenes. The Merv Griffin set itself, they had 5 scenes. 5! Like, enough already. Like, I know that's the name of the show, but they could have made that a 2-scene deal. Again, just trying to, beating a dead horse. They beat multiple dead horses here. D for the Merv Griffin show.
Beating a dead horse is a very good description for this episode. So, Tony, what is your final grade?
My friend Jay Riemenschneider eats horse all the time. I think my final. I'm not going to give out too many of these. I'm not going to give out too many of these. I mean, you got to figure, what is there, 10 in the whole bunch? This is an F. I'm probably bothering some people. I mean, we've had many guests on who've called this their favorite episode. I'm giving it an F. I think when we talk about Seinfeld absurdity, this is peak. I mean, we talk about it's probably, like I mentioned earlier, the worst George storyline of all time, if not bottom 5. It's a bottom 5 Kramer storyline, and it's a bottom 5 Jerry storyline. And then Elaine, it's literally the worst episode for every character in the entire show. I'm thinking maybe I got 10 of these in me. As Chris mentioned, he has some other in his mind. This is an F for me. This is one of my Fs. I probably won't give too many of these out. I probably won't give it too many A+ out. But this is the F. Solid F for Merv Griffin.
Well, you heard it here first. First F and 2 ups and 2 downs episode wrap up. So, guys, thank you again. Let's move on to the next episode.
Guess what? I got great news to make you happy. I just got an email.
Who said yes?
Babu has agreed to speak with us.
Babu?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
I literally read that before I gave my grade, which made me soften up on the Merv.
This might get posted in the episode. In this, we're going to keep this in the Babu. The Babu.
Literally hot off the press.